Ever wondered what makes a knockout in UFC so epic? What separates a regular knockout from one that will be remembered for years? Well, you're about to find out. In the thrilling world of Ultimate Fighting Championship, or UFC, a knockout is more than just a winning punch or kick. It's a culmination of strategy, timing, and raw power. A moment that can define a fighter's career and etch their name into the annals of fighting history. An epic knockout? That's something else entirely. It's a moment that sends shockwaves through the crowd. A moment replayed over and over in highlight reels and fight fans' minds. It's a display of not just physical strength, but mental acuity and tactical brilliance. In this video, we'll be breaking down some of the most memorable knockouts in UFC history. We'll examine the strategy, the execution, and the impact, and see why these moments are considered epic. So, brace yourselves as we delve into the world of UFC knockouts, where strategy, execution, and impact collide in a spectacular display of fighting prowess. Behind every epic knockout, there's a masterful strategy at play. Let's delve a little deeper into the cunning game plans that fighters employ to seize victory in the octagon. In the world of mixed martial arts, strategy is not merely about brute strength or speed. It's a complex dance, a chess match where every move is calculated, every feint is a ruse, and timing is of the essence. Consider the use of feints, for instance. A feint is a deceptive move designed to draw an opponent's attention away from the real attack. Picture a fighter swinging his left fist, catching his opponent's eye only to deliver a powerful right hook that sends him to the mat. That's the art of the feint. It's all about trickery, about making your opponent think you're going one way when you're actually planning to go another. Then, there's the crucial element of timing. In the octagon, timing is everything. It's about knowing when to strike, when to defend, and when to seize the moment. Picture a fighter patiently biding his time, waiting for that split second when his opponent lets his guard down, and then, boom, a lightning-fast punch or a swift kick, and it's game over. That's the beauty of perfect timing. And let's not forget about exploiting weaknesses. Every fighter has a weak spot, a chink in their armor. A good fighter knows how to spot these weaknesses and use them to their advantage. It could be a slower left hook, a tendency to drop the guard, or even a recurring injury. Identifying and exploiting these vulnerabilities can turn the tide in a fight and set the stage for a potential knockout. Remember, a good strategy is the foundation of any great knockout. It sets the stage for the execution that follows. It's about outsmarting your opponent, about being one step ahead. It's about finding the perfect moment to strike, and when that moment comes, delivering a blow that echoes through UFC history. With a solid strategy in place, the stage is set for the execution. There's an art to the perfect knockout, a ballet of brutality that combines timing, accuracy, and raw power into a single decisive moment. The execution of a knockout punch or kick is not just about brute force, it's a symphony of precision and technique, a dance where every movement matters. Picture this: a fighter, poised in the cage, every muscle coiled and ready. They've studied their opponent, they know their strengths and weaknesses, they've planned, they've strategized, but none of that matters if they can't execute. This is where the magic happens. This is where champions are made. In the world of MMA, timing is everything. It's about finding that split-second window of opportunity, that moment when your opponent is vulnerable. It's about striking when the iron is hot, seizing the moment with a well-timed punch or kick. The perfect knockout is a masterclass in timing, a testament to a fighter's ability to read their opponent and react in a heartbeat. But timing alone isn't enough. You also need accuracy. A punch that lands a fraction of an inch off target can be the difference between victory and defeat. The perfect knockout punch or kick lands right on the button, right where it can do the most damage. It's a sniper shot, a precision strike that leaves no room for error. And then there's power, the kind of raw, unbridled force that can send an opponent crashing to the canvas. But power without control is meaningless. The perfect knockout combines power with precision, force with finesse. It's a controlled explosion, a blast of energy that's channeled into a single devastating strike. Each of these elements, timing, accuracy, power, is crucial in its own right. But what truly sets a knockout punch or kick apart is the technique behind it. The way a fighter moves, the way they pivot and twist, the way they channel their power. These are the things that turn a good strike into a knockout blow. In the end, execution is the key that turns a well-planned strategy into a stunning knockout. Now let's talk about the impact, the crowning glory of a knockout. The impact of a knockout is twofold. It's both physical and psychological. On the physical end, it's the culmination of a fighter's strategy and execution, a precise blow that ends the match. The fighter on the receiving end of that knockout punch is often left dazed, confused, and sometimes even unconscious. The physical toll of a knockout can be immediate and brutal. Now let's dive a bit deeper into the psychological impact. A knockout isn't just a physical defeat, it's a mental one as well. It can shake a fighter's confidence, make them question their abilities, their training, and their strategy. It's a moment that can echo in a fighter's mind long after the match is over. On the flip side, for the one delivering the knockout, it's a moment of triumph, a validation of their skill and power. It can boost their confidence, fuel their ambition, and propel them to even greater heights in their career. But it's not just the fighters who feel the impact of a knockout. The audience, both in the arena and watching from home, also experiences the thrill of a knockout. It's a moment of high drama, a sudden and decisive conclusion that leaves everyone breathless. The collective gasp, the roaring applause, the shared adrenaline rush, it's all part of the impact. And then there's the lasting impression a knockout leaves. A spectacular knockout becomes a part of UFC lore, a moment that fans will talk about for years, even decades to come. It becomes a pivotal moment in the fighter's career, a highlight in their highlight reel, a testament to their power and skill. The impact of a knockout is what makes it truly unforgettable, sealing its place in UFC history. Now that we understand the components of a knockout, let's look at some examples of the most epic knockouts in UFC history. To start, we have Conor McGregor's 13-second knockout of Jose Aldo at UFC 194. The strategy here was McGregor's mind games, getting Aldo off balance emotionally even before they stepped into the octagon. The execution? A swift left hook that caught Aldo as he charged in, knocking him out cold. The impact was immediate and stunning. McGregor became the undisputed featherweight champion, and his star power in the UFC skyrocketed. Next, let's look at Holly Holm's knockout of Ronda Rousey at UFC 193. Holm's strategy involved using her superior boxing skills to keep Rousey at a distance. The execution came in the form of a high kick to the head that Rousey didn't see coming. The impact was massive. Rousey, the seemingly invincible champion, was defeated, and Holm became the new bantamweight champion. Then there's Jorge Masvidal's 5-second flying knee knockout of Ben Askren at UFC 239. Masvidal's strategy was sheer audacity. He knew Askren, a wrestler, would try for an early takedown. The execution? A flying knee right off the bat. The impact? Askren was knocked out before he even hit the ground, and Masvidal set a record for the fastest knockout in UFC history. Lastly, we have Anderson Silva's front kick knockout of Vitor Belfort at UFC 126. Silva's strategy was his unpredictability. Belfort had no idea what was coming. The execution was a front kick to the face, something rarely seen in the UFC. The impact was Silva cementing his legacy as one of the greatest fighters in UFC history. As you can see, these knockouts are a perfect blend of strategy, execution, and impact, making them some of the most memorable moments in UFC history. So there you have it, the anatomy of an epic knockout in UFC. We've journeyed through the intricate details that set the stage for these breathtaking moments in mixed martial arts history. We've delved into the strategy that forms the backbone of every knockout, highlighting how each fighter meticulously plans their moves, studying their opponent's weaknesses and capitalizing on them. We've then looked at the execution, the precise timing, and the perfect placement of the strike that can make all the difference between a knockout and just another hit. And let's not forget the impact, the moment where all the strategy and execution culminate into a spectacle that leaves the audience in awe. We've also revisited some of the most epic knockouts in UFC history, reliving those defining moments that have left an indelible mark on the sport. Next time you witness a knockout in a UFC match, you'll know the depth of skill and strategy that went into that defining moment. Until then, keep enjoying the thrill of the fight.